Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. DAPs.
I'm Katie.
And we're so excited that you're here tonight as we talk about a lot of stuff because a lot has happened since we were here last week.
I know. You've been to Florida and back.
I have been to Florida and back, and we also went to Disneyland after dark last night, and there was a lot of things going on, and we're happy that you're joining us tonight as we talk about all of this. Before we get into Sweethearts Night, though, I think we should start with Florida, don't you?
Yes, I will say thank you for joining us on this.
Oh, yeah, you want to get into our stuff? See what happens when we're not on Tuesdays?
I was going to say thank you for joining us on a Wednesday night.
Yes.
I'm very excited to see you guys here on a Wednesday because the Tuesday thing was kind of last minute. We didn't really know what was going to happen last week, mainly because you thought Sweethearts Night was tonight.
Yeah.
Not
I totally thought it was tonight.
Not last night.
And then we found out that it wasn't. And it was like, oh, we're doing this differently. That's okay.
But I will say it was 40 degrees this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
just like back in Florida.
Yeah. Funny. Well, I think Florida was a little colder.
Yes, it was, but it was reminiscent of Florida where it was nice and cool.
They put tarps on the flowers.
Yes, they did.
They didn't freeze.
They still froze, I think.
And unfortunately, we have 6 more weeks of winter ahead of us.
Yes. Because Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow.
Yeah, which I always hope for, like...
I feel like I need to watch the movie now.
Why didn't we do that?
I don't know. We should have streamed the movie.
We should
have. Then we wouldn't have had Geeks Corner.
Should have had a DAPs watch.
DAPs watch.
Groundhog Day. Yeah, so
that'd be a good one.
I always hope for 6 weeks or for early spring, but I feel like I never actually get it because even when they predict spring, it's always just cold. So
yeah. I mean, and really, what does it mean? I would be curious. I don't know the origin story of the groundhog and the shadow and all of that jazz. And I think that would be an interesting thing.
I do somewhere, but I think
somewhere.
Yeah, I think that like you have to say the Winter Soldier activation words, 100 because
you have to find them
in elementary school. We would read about it and where it started and all those things. It's one of those things of like we're gonna make a holiday educational.
Did it start in Pennsylvania? Punxsutawney?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I can barely remember yesterday.
Okay.
How am I supposed to remember elementary school?
You never know. Should we move on?
I guess.
Okay.
Happy winter, y'all.
Let's head on over to Florida, where it felt like winter this week as well. Me and Murray were in Florida this last weekend, and we were able to see the Star Blaster ship.
Nova Core Star Blaster ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a little bit challenging.
It's a lot of words.
Yes. Anyway, we were able to see it up close and personal. This is what it looks like. And last week we were talking about how it was 51 feet tall, or it is now 51 feet tall. And in the 3 or 4 days between talking about it on Geeks Corner and being at EPCOT, it went from just being partially in place to, hey, that's a whole ship.
Yeah.
And so I took this picture, I believe actually this was Monday. And I will admit it has made me so much more intrigued about this attraction.
Really?
And I don't even know why, other than it's becoming more real at some level.
That's fair.
And it looks really cool. And it's fun to walk around it and you see how many people are just like kind of taking pictures and gawking and looking at it. And there's some fun different places to look. And then they've also got, I'll put it back up in a second. But to the right of it, where you're looking at it, there's a row of trees that kind of head off towards what will be the play pavilion.
Oh, yes, the play pavilion.
But it's interesting because it's definitely focusing your attention. If you're to the left of those trees, it's focusing your attention on the entrance here. If you're to the right of those trees, it's focusing you up towards Mission Space and Future Play Pavilion. And I wish I had a picture of this, and I didn't take one because there wasn't really a good place to, is those trees kind of go in a row right between these two pavilions and it get wider. And my hunch is when these trees get bigger, they're going to help make that big blue building disappear.
That's my guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was one of the unique things I thought looking at this, and first being frustrated that the trees were in the way for me to take a more unobstructed view from the right, where I felt the light was better at the time I was walking around, and then realizing, oh, these are to hide this building at some point.
Can I say something controversial?
Please do.
I don't know that I have an opinion either way about this metal beam. In fact,
Oh, I don't care.
I don't think I care about it.
Well, and I don't think it's finished. Let's throw it back up here.
if you look at concept
The
art,
concept art has it look more like it's a
a
docking.
platform docking thing.
I'm going to call it a docking pylon.
It's a good word.
I think it's going to be a docking pylon. I think it'll look great, and I don't think it will. It'll even matter to people when they're walking in, because it'll look like it's landed there and it's on a docking. Like, those things have to land somehow. It's
Yeah,
like,
and even if they didn't cover it, I don't know that I would be bothered.
no, I'm not. Like, honestly, when it
And
was
I
like
love
that,
Epcot.
it fits. Like, it looks nice.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't think it's. I think sometimes, what's the quote that they made for Pollyanna?
If you can dream it, you can do
it. No, that's another one. But no, it's if you look for the bad in a person, or what is it? If you look for the bad, expecting to find it, you surely will.
Mhm.
And I feel like that might be a case of like, let's just whatever. Yeah. Other thing that I saw that actually really impressed me as well, and I love that they're not even trying to hide these things. They're like, hey, look, we're putting in an attraction here. And here's the other one that they're working on. And I love how this is starting to look.
Yeah.
This is from the People Mover right before you go into Space Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks awesome from here. But as you back further away through Tomorrowland,
Mm-hmm.
I think it fits really well with Tomorrowland. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it actually, I think, makes Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland look even more impressive and futuristic. And I actually like a lot of Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. But it's really cool from the People Mover. In fact, I got stuck like just a little bit further on this for a few minutes and could see this really well. It wasn't good for a picture because it was a little bit more focused in, but it's really cool to see it come to life. And if you looked closely, from a certain spot, you can see where the train tracks will be going through. And like, I walked around to the other side, and that's really what I care about, is like
Train.
Well, the train not just coming back, but the train going through this really futuristic attraction. So you've got like one of the oldest modes of transportation going under one of the newest modes of transportation, and that's only going to happen
This
at Disneyland.
Is the Magic Kingdom equivalent
Well,
of
Walt
our
Disney World.
train going left.
It is. It kind
It
of
is.
But yeah, that's a Disney thing that really just creates, I don't know. There's something magical in seeing the really old and the really new coming together and it feeling natural in some weird way. And I understand they've been testing the train, so that's a good
I
thing
saw a
too.
video.
Yeah,
That's so exciting.
I cannot wait for the trains to return.
It's very funny. Obviously, I have never been to Shanghai Disneyland.
Mhm.
But it's very funny to see the very iconic Tron
Mhm.
coaster imagery and being like, wait, that's in Magic Kingdom.
Mhm.
It fits really well. I will obviously argue that Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland is better than Disneyland's Tomorrowland all day long, minus one thing: Space Mickey.
Oh, yes.
That is
Yes.
that is my only reason to not level all of Disneyland's
And
Tomorrowland.
who would you like to thank for that? The Imagineer you like to thank.
Oh, you're scaring me for a second.
Yeah.
Tom Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should invite him on the show.
You could talk about Space Mickey and
We could
Figment.
talk about a whole show on Space Mickey and Figment.
Yeah.
That would be pretty.
It could be the whole show.
That would be pretty epic, wouldn't it?
I'd like
You
that.
can do it virtually. It'd be great. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. It is correct, Clocky. Shanghai does have no train.
Therefore,
Magic Kingdoms will be better.
Magic Kingdoms is automatically better.
I will say though, looking at the pictures, because Murray was at Shanghai Disneyland opening day, and his pictures and video of opening day there, I think there is something more Tron-ish about theirs.
Oh yeah.
And this one has something more Magic Kingdom, Disneyland-ish. Like, it feels different. And it'll be interesting once it's finished if you think the same thing. But Shanghai, to me, that whole area almost reminds me of like a futuristic spaceport or something. And this feels a little bit pigeonholed. Actually, it kind of reminds me of Meet the Robinsons. It's not a bad thing. It's just different. Like it's got that like, oh, here's Space Mountain, and oh, here's this
Oh,
cool thing.
oh, wait,
and-
wait, wait, wait. But you're confusing. Common mistake. In Meet the Robinsons, that is actually Todayland. That is not Tomorrowland.
But it reminds me of it.
Of Todayland?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm just saying people.
I just said it reminds me of Meet the Robinsons. I didn't say what it.
Oh no, but it's okay.
Okay.
I was just saying that people very frequently get those confused. I was just making sure that we had clarification.
What's the show where tomorrow meets today? I don't know.
Don't ask me
That's
about pop
popping into my
culture.
head from something. Okay.
I
That's
know about this much of pop culture.
Okay.
Although it's funny, the other day you asked me, oh, last night, is you said, what's that line? You were like, where we're going?
Oh yes.
And I was like,
we don't need roads.
we don't need roads.
Yes.
So I was useful for once.
You were, and that was very good because I have gone on little to no sleep for the last few days, mainly because I chose to stay in Epcot all day on Monday and fly back late on Monday and get up really early on Tuesday and then stay up at Disneyland really late Tuesday and get home at like 1 something. And
I slept for 2 hours
and
last night.
post videos. I got 4. I was good.
Wow. Yeah, and I
so
didn't get to take a nap this afternoon.
Who knows what's going to happen? This could be a very interesting show. So anyway, I'm really excited about the things that are coming to Magic Kingdom and Epcot. And it's fun to look at as you ride the monorail. And I didn't take a picture of this because I was filming, but looking in the middle area where those buildings used to be, it's very interesting how much bigger it makes Spaceship Earth look.
Yes.
And it also is interesting because it looks like the pathway that's going to go back basically from what was Future World, I guess World of Celebration now, into World Showcase. Like you can see where it looks like the path is going to go because they have like orange markers in the dirt that looks like that's a path. And you can see just kind of a little bit of where this is going to take shape, or how this is going to take shape and in the coming months and hopefully not years. And then you can also see they're working on the Moana thing and the water, and that looks like it'll be fun too. And then there's all the old stuff, and this actually, I don't often push our vlogs on Geeks Corner, but you really, if you have interest in Festival of the Arts food, you might actually want to watch these vlogs because Murray and I gamified food tasting. Every day we rated our top 3 and then rated everything for the day, like from what's the best to not best. And there wasn't any bad, so I'm not going to say worst, but best to not best that we flavored. And then over the course of the 3 days or whatever, we were at Festival of the Arts, we ranked our top 3 and then our least favorite as well. And I will say, nothing was bad. I was very pleasantly surprised. And I also loved that everything we got was on a pretty plate. Like it was just a white plate and it looked classy. And I had this realization that I like festival food on white, classy plates better than I like them in like Disney, like the cups with all the designs on them.
That's fair.
It really elevated the experience, and that was a lot of fun. All right, enough about that. One other thing though I did at Epcot that I think you'll enjoy. We like to go on photo adventures. And so one of the things I thought would be fun is to see different places to watch Harmonious and see how it changed the experience. So Friday night, what did I get there? Yeah, Thursday night. I got there just for the evening after I flew out. This is where I watched Harmonious from. In fact, I took this picture, has not been edited. That's also without a tripod, so I'm kind of proud of that one. But that's from the second level of the Japan Pavilion up on that balcony, and we've watched there before with our friend Victoria. But so I was like, oh, that's fun. This is pretty whatever. Like, there's nothing hugely groundbreaking about this, but it looked nice.
Okay.
And you can see everything from there. And most importantly, me being by myself, I wasn't in the middle of a really big crowd. I was like, I don't want to be, in the middle of that. Next night, I was actually originally going to watch Disney Enchantment. And then as the night progressed, it was getting increasingly busy on Main Street and in the hub. And I'm like, I have a tripod, but I just don't want to be crammed with people. I'm going to go find another place for Harmonious. And this kind of became a thing because once you've done it twice, then you have to keep doing it. So I went to China. And have you even seen these?
No.
Okay.
You sent me
Oh, the picture of me
The
taking
picture of you
picture.
taking the picture.
So I went to the back of China, and it was really a fun place to shoot from.
That's
And
a really fun picture.
this is unedited too.
That's
Like,
gorgeous.
and that's just like, it's not actually representative of what it'll be, because that's not exactly what I was seeing. But it was really fun, and I moved around a couple places back there. So Murray shows up following morning at ridiculously early, and I stayed out too late, so I was a little bit tired and grumpy, but that happens. And so I'm like, hey, can
No,
we
you
watch,
don't get tired and grumpy.
can we watch Harmonious from another place? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so we watched Disney on Broadway,
Mhm.
4th row with the Newsies
Wow.
people, which was great.
Wow.
And then we stepped 100 yards or whatever away, and we watched from a different place in the Japan Pavilion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I actually moved around during this one too, just because it was fun. But it was kind of a unique photo adventure, and it's a little bit washed out, but in the bottom middle, you can see the screen there, like
Yeah.
the big circle Stargate thing. And then finally, the last night that we watched Harmonious, which was Sunday night, we decided to do something in your honor.
In my honor?
In your honor.
What?
We went to Canada.
Oh,
This
that's...
is up on the top level of Canada, and that's the store on the right, and then the totem poles. I gotta put this back on. We made Katie cry because we watched Harmonious from back there. But yeah, so all of those were, other than the first night, were on a tripod and 10 seconds long, and 100 ISO, and I think I had it around, like, I think my f-stop was like 10 or something, if you want to try this. But drink your water. I'll keep talking for you for a minute. But the interesting thing was, I learned that you really don't need to see the screens and the barges to enjoy the show. In fact, in many ways, I enjoyed the fountains and the fireworks more with the music, without like really focusing on what the animations were.
Yeah.
And that was kind of weird to me. And it made me think, like, or armchair Imagineer, if you will. We could bring back If I Were in Charge. I honestly, if I were in charge, I would have done World of Color there with that show. Like the World of Color water platforms underneath.
I see that.
So they could pop up. You could have the screens be the projectors, like, you know, the water fountain things. And I think you could get basically, like, it'd be a little bit different with the fireworks, but I think you could still do it from water launched fireworks. I think you could get almost the same effect and have it be way more shocking and impressive if you were to do it from basically underwater and it pops up in dark. Anyway, that was my nutshell of a trip.
That was great.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was
All right.
awesome.
But no, I really enjoyed seeing Harmonious 4 times in 4 different locations, and I highly suggest it. In fact, we were talking about how fun it would be to try it from different places, because we didn't hit all the pavilions, obviously, and then even different places around EPCOT to try to get some artsy shots like that. All right, moving right on. We talked about Novacore.
Yes.
Guardians. This will be quick.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be the last movie with this cast of Guardians. What do you think about that?
I think it's fine.
I actually do too, and I would be okay actually if we didn't have Volume 3.
So would I.
I'm kind of in that, like, I'm ready for a new story.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
And if you have spent more than 5 minutes with me in person, you've ever brought up the MCU, you've ever brought up the Guardians stories with me, you will know that when I think of Guardians 2,
Oh, you start going into
I go into the Sailor Say Brandy.
that part is hilarious.
You're a fine girl.
That actually makes me want to watch the movie again
What a
every time you say
good wife you would be. That's all I think
so-
about. So Guardians 3 can't top that.
The one thing I'm looking forward to with Volume 3, though, we get a new soundtrack. And that will be fun.
That is true.
Like, that actually, or they call it a playlist, don't they? Or
Awesome Mix.
Awesome Mix, thank you. Anyway, so I think that'll be interesting. And I also think it's interesting that it's with the current Guardians, which implies there's a whole new...
Well, there's always potential, especially with the multiverse. I think that's the biggest thing, is that there's always potential of somebody picking up the mantle which was already the
Or
plan.
their ship just explodes and they all die, and then some new people come along. I don't know. It just popped in my head.
I don't know where to go after that. So yeah,
I don't know. Like there's lots of
morbid.
mixtape. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Juan. Yeah. Anyway, we will see what happens. I'm looking forward to the holiday show though. Like I'm actually looking forward to that more than I am
Unless their
Volume
ship
3.
blows up and they all die.
And then they come back because it's multiverse and you can mess with time. Anything can happen. We now know. It's just like the comic books. Let's move on to Disneyland After Dark.
Shall we?
Last night was Sweethearts Night, and we were there. And I will toot our own horns a little bit. We had
Doot,
a
doot.
great team, and we got so much video last night.
Yes, we did.
I will be editing this for
Ever.
probably. Like we will just keep watching our channel. We'll have lots of stuff coming up. Before we talk too much about it, we're going to share with you a highlight, I think,
Okay.
of Sweethearts
I'm
Night.
gonna cry again.
Probably.
That
was good.
So good.
Yeah, so that is Fat Cat Swinger on these parties known as the Aristocats.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very fun. And they were joined each set by 3 sets of Disney royalty. Last night it was Cinderella and her prince, Aladdin and Jasmine, and then also Ariel and Eric. And I presume that could change as
You
these
never
things
know.
go on. Like that seemed like a very easy to swap out, and you could see other people. But that was really cool. And I showed, like, it's not the best video skills on the planet, but mainly because people were dancing and it was trying to get through them all.
It was cute.
But I wanted to show what that whole area looked like. They had the band in the middle, they had the princes and princesses around there, and they were all socially distancing, which I thought was really good, but also just a stark reminder that we're still in the middle of a pandemic, which I thought was, I give points to Disney for that. Yeah,
Definitely.
and they did a really nice job. Like Aurora and Prince Philip were close, but like they were coupley, but they weren't like right next to each other, and they had their distance and stuff too. So that was interesting. I think for me, Fat Cat was definitely a highlight of the night.
Yes.
They played they had so much new music. First off,
It was so good.
All of it Disney.
Yeah.
I actually think my favorite, and you can answer in a second, was You're Welcome, along with this one. But they did You're Welcome from Moana, and it was just awesome. Like the energy and the excitement, like it was just awesome. What was your favorite?
Rainbow Connection was
And
definitely
one
up
other.
there.
Like Rainbow's like a given.
Dos Oruguitas. Whatever. Shut up. I only took 2 years of Spanish.
I didn't take any, so
You
could have said
took
anything, and I would have been
none.
like, "Oh, okay,
You
that's good."
took French.
Yep.
Anyway, Marco did a beautiful job.
That
Like
was
it
beautiful.
was.
Like I think there's people crying.
It took my breath away,
Yeah.
honestly. And I've loved how much Marco has stepped into singing in the last couple years. It's made me very happy. And last night, like the second it started, I was like, and I started recording because it was gorgeous. And so I'm very happy that they did that. And I was just happy to see Encanto in the parks.
Yeah,
it was nice.
I think that's actually the first time we've heard a song from Encanto in the parks.
Yeah,
live.
it is.
Like I don't know that I've heard any of the other bands do that yet. So that was super cool. But they had the Swiss Family Robinson polka. They had
Swiss polka.
Yeah, who would have guessed?
Not me.
Like, it was super cool. And I'm trying to think of If I Didn't Have You from Monsters Inc. They had This Is The Second Star to the Right. They had Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah.
They had, I'm spacing because there was so much.
It's hard when there's 4 sets.
And we have all 4 sets recorded. 3 of them are already up. I'm going to try to get the set times and songs on the description so you can just go to the song you want to, and maybe even cut them up at some point if I have time. But totally check these videos out because they were super cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There were so many really
There's
good
a lot
songs. Like my mind was blown.
They did So This Is Love.
Yep.
Which was stunning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think.
But I did the theme from Up, which was very cute.
Yeah, it also
and it had the spirit of adventure too.
And I was going to say that was something that felt like a spiritual following. Not to get mushy, but previously at Sweethearts Night, Tim Gill and the Tim Gill All Stars was who played these events, and unfortunately Tim Gill is no longer
that song you always heard him
with
sing
us.
at
And
Pixarmonic.
you always saw him sing or hear him at Pixarmonic.
Yeah.
So that kind of and also people that he played with were there, and so it was kind of this like almost like Tim Gill was there.
Yeah,
they also did Remember Me. That was what I was also thinking.
Oh, that one was the one I loved.
And that actually
that
came
one's top 3.
Either right before or right after Spirit of Adventure and Married Life, and they talked about how there's people that are no longer with us that you always remember and that you carry with them, and it was beautiful. And I
Remember Me, I was actually trying to remember what was that duet I really loved.
I was like, what duet did Marco and Mark do?
Yeah, and it was Mark, he did it in English, Marco did the Spanish, and then they came together, and it was so good.
It was honestly that was Fat Cat Swinger doing what Fat Cat Swinger does best.
And in some ways better than they've ever done before.
Yeah.
Just because of the sheer amount of new music that I've never heard before. And I hope we get to hear again. Like, I really hope the average day guest gets to hear a lot of these songs because every arrangement was great.
Yeah.
And
every guest was enjoying it.
And it was Disney. Like I was sitting there going, if I was a Disney executive tonight, I would be I'd be like, sign this band for everything right now because you have a new front band. Like you could use them for Saturday nights when you bring swing dancing back. You could use them for any of the festivals. Well, and
in my perfect world, if it wasn't a pandemic, I know that we're in a pandemic and social distancing is important. At 80s Night, they recreated Videopolis and they made the Videopolis stage and had a dance floor.
Yep.
That would be my perfect venue for something like this. You put Fat Cat there, you have that giant amphitheater.
Yeah, let them really go crazy.
Yeah, like dance floor, amphitheater, seating, all of those things.
Yeah, I think that actually was the one thing I would have changed, if anything, is I would have made it less ball and more big band. Yeah. Because their music was perfect. And I really just wanted them
to jump
not
around.
Be so like, and Mark, actually started jumping. Like he was
He did.
pretty, like he held it in at the beginning, and then as it moved forward, he jumped around. Welcome to Geeks Corner Plus, by the way. You're welcome.
Hey!
This one's for you, Clocky. But no, it was super cool. The fireworks I actually thought were really, really good, and we've got videos of those up as well. The only thing I would have changed,
Okay.
and we've talked about this,
Mhm.
is I would have kept everything the same
Yes.
for the most part. And then at the end, after, was it True Love's Kiss what they ended on?
Yes.
I would have gone into a reprise of Tale as Old as Time from the very end of the animated version of Beauty and the Beast.
It did feel weird that there was no exit music to the show.
No, I would have had that where
I
the
know.
big fireworks
I
go.
know, but I was saying that also they could have added
Oh, yeah,
something
yeah.
like
Well, and then,
ballady.
and then you could have gone into the 90s version of Beauty and the Beast behind it.
That's what
And
I was
that
thinking.
would have been beautiful.
Yeah. But I do love that they ended on True Love's Kiss. I was
great.
surprised.
It was a really fun show.
I was surprised that we saw any enchanted representation at all.
Yeah. Makes sense though.
It does, but we don't see
This
it very
is the Disney
often.
synergy, and there's a new movie coming out.
Synergy.
Disenchanted, it's coming soon.
But I was excited to see True Love's Kiss in a fireworks show.
Yeah, oh totally. And I would love to hear more of that music in the parks too.
I would have loved
did Fat Cat do any song from there?
I don't know. I only caught the first and fourth set.
Because honestly, now that we're talking about this,
How Does She Know would have been perfect.
I was thinking that one would be great, but also the dance song, the So Close or whatever, with that band, with the piano player, whatever, like have Mark sing it, like, and then in a perfect world, you'd have Marco do a really cool sax solo also, and that just be like home run. Everybody's, grand slam home run. Be awesome. We really enjoyed Fat Cat. You can see that was definitely the highlight.
But to touch on some other things that we saw at Sweethearts Night, Mary Poppins and Bert.
It was a jolly holiday.
Oh my gosh! Mary was in her nanny outfit. Bert was as a chimney sweep. I kind of called them their non-chalk drawing because when we see them in the park, it is a chalk drawing.
Yeah.
That's that version.
Chalk isn't what you draw with, not the hospital in Orange County.
Yes.
Which we support wholeheartedly.
But we got to see them in those outfits, which we haven't seen them in a very long time.
No, that was really cool.
And they were delightful. And
I was trying to remember, is the last time we actually saw them in those outfits back by the 50th or Million Dreams or something? Like I vividly remember them that all the time. And in fact, I can remember Mary Poppins and Bert doing chalk drawings, I think, in those outfits behind the castle.
And I will also say, it reminded me a lot of Sweethearts Night 2019 when they were kind of wandering through.
One of my best pictures of
one
all
of your
time.
best pictures. They were wandering through Town Square.
If you'd have warned me, I would have had it ready to go.
Yeah, or they were wandering through the hub.
Yep.
And no one was talking to them, and they were just talking to each other, and it was very sweet. And you got that picture of them looking down Main Street together.
Which that brings up a good thing, is they did a nice job this time of expediting queues, so people weren't standing in them all the time. So you did see more people walking around, and I don't know that it was actually busier. I just think people could do more because they doubled up lines and they had more photo ops spread out more strategically.
And I will get into that.
And they the characters I thought were more spread out strategically as well. And it was done in a way where you could just walk by and snap a picture in most cases.
Things.
Not Snow White
and
her prince, but
that was pretty much it, though. The only thing you couldn't snap a picture of.
Yeah, and we couldn't find the Zootopia crew.
They were supposed to be in Critter Country.
I don't know. We couldn't
find them.
But we hit almost every character. I didn't see Hercules and Meg.
I did.
You did. So we did kind of get them. And was there anybody else we missed?
I don't. You saw Stitch and Angel.
Yeah, that was fun.
No, I think we saw pretty much everybody.
Yeah. What was your favorite character team? Was it?
It was Mary and Bert. Also because they were very sweet, and because they were up on the train station, but they didn't have a ton of people, unfortunately.
That's a hard location because
but normally
kind of out of the flow.
When it's a Mickey or a Minnie, there's a lot of people around.
Bernard and Bianca were there, and they were very cool.
Yeah, they were in New Orleans Square.
Oh, and so was Tiana and Naveen in their restaurant outfit.
Their New Orleans Jazz Club,
which I loved. Like that was so classy and cool, and I was like, "That's a great sweater vest."
Anna and
And-
Kristoff were also there, thinking through.
And they were super cute
they
also.
were.
Like, I forgot about them. Yeah, they were super cute. Oh, we didn't see Rapunzel and Flynn.
Yes.
But they're in the park all the time, so
Mhm.
that was okay. No, there was no Max and Roxanne. We did see Atlantis.
We saw Mr. Daps in the flesh. So we were standing, we were talking by what was the where the Atlantis unit was meeting,
Basically by Launch Bay.
basically by Launch Bay, right in front in that area. And we're sitting there, we're talking, and Mr. Daps is not wearing these glasses. If you go to last night's photos, you might be able to see you're wearing more of the wiry,
They're wire rimmed.
octagonal
Yeah.
glasses. And there's this couple walking by, and they're looking at the line, and I just hear the guy go, "Oh, I thought the guy in the tie was Milo." And then he did not hear it.
No.
And I look at him and I go, "Someone thought you were Milo." And he goes, "Who?" And I was like, "They said the guy in the tie. I thought he was Milo." And then everyone kind of went, "I can see it."
Yeah. We were talking to a couple hosts. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
So, Halloween costume?
He doesn't wear a hat.
He doesn't wear a hat.
No. I do have a question for you, though.
Okay.
So there's several more of these things happening throughout the month.
Mhm.
What would be your tips for people who want to get the most out of it? Like, how would you do it? Because it's impossible to do everything.
Yes.
Like, there's just no, like, we had a whole team there and there was no way we could do everything. And we were hoofing it the entire night. Like, every
My
one of
feet
us,
hurt last
every
night.
one of us were working it, whether it was videoing Fat Cat, running and getting pictures, running and getting short videos. Like, we did it all. What would be your tips for someone who's going to the next one on, I think, Thursday night?
Tomorrow night. My tips would
How
definitely
weird is that?
be to look at the maps that were posted.
Mhm.
Not
In
to
fact,
look at
on our article, it has everything that you can do.
yeah. So I would get an idea of that and kind of go old school and like star what you want to do.
Mhm.
The things that are most important to you. For us, one of the most important things was Fat Cat Swinger, so we prioritized that very high. For me, something that was very important was the Tangled photo op.
Which they doubled up.
Which I would like to say with photo ops, there's also a Tony's. They turned Plaza Inn into
That was cute.
Tony's, and you can go and you can with your sweetheart and eat spaghetti, and it's very cute, like you're in Lady and the Tramp. And there's 2 photo ops, so they're sending people doubles.
You know what would have been really cool, and maybe they did this, and I don't know with that one. You know how they did I think it was in the My Disney Experience app for a while. They had that little magic thing where it was kind of like on Snapchat, where it would like do the
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's a magical way, like a magical photo or whatever, that they could have done something like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like people would have just eaten that up. And you do get free photo pass. I mean,
Yeah.
you've paid for it because of you're paying for the
Yes.
ticket, but you do get free photo pass. And I think that's a good point though that you brought up, is strategize. Like, you are not going to be able to do every photo op.
Pick
You're
what's most important.
Yeah,
to
and you're
you.
not going to be able to meet every character. So I would pick, like, what's your top 2?
For sure. And then
that's still
you'll
going to
be
take time.
pleasantly surprised if you get to do more.
Yep. The other thing we discovered is you can mobile order the food before the party starts. So if you do want festival food,
Party food.
order it earlier in the day, and then I would probably like have it show up as close to 8 o'clock as you can, so you can just get it. Like, then you don't have to worry about the lines getting longer or something.
Something entertainment I didn't talk about. I'm so sorry. I would be remiss if I didn't say it. At one point, I went and I ate mozzarella sticks and French fries in the Golden Horseshoe, and there is a mini Golden Horseshoe review in there.
And I have acquired video of it that will be up soon.
It is so fun.
Yep, we will have video of that up as well. And in the video, every video we post of that will end up on the article. Like, we've got that all set up. So that will be a lot of fun as well. There was also a jazz band on the Mark Twain. There was a ukulele duo that was over in Adventureland that I really wish we could have seen. We just didn't have time. And
that is the common theme you're going to hear a lot. It's only 4 hours.
And honestly, if we hadn't filmed all of Fat Cat, we probably could have done a run by of everything. But that's not relaxing, and that's not a party. That's covering for DAPs. Like, that's us working the night, which we did.
She did.
Yeah,
We also had fun.
we had that's what we do. It's
But
fun.
Fat Cat was our priority. We've been talking about this
For weeks.
Yeah, and this is what we were most excited about.
Mhm.
And we made it a priority, and that's what we did. Like, this was our top thing. We pretty much said, if we do nothing else, this is what's important to us.
So final question.
Yes.
Is it worth the price?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. It's worth the price.
It's gonna take a lot for me to say no.
My one critique, and I
Hit me with
made
it.
this critique as we were walking around last night. I feel like it's a little bit of a bummer for the day guest, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But basically, Adventureland, they closed at least a half an hour before the park closed, and you couldn't go on any of the attractions. And as much as I selfishly am like, nope, party starts at 8, need to get them out. Like, I do think you should be able to go on the attractions right up until the park close.
Yeah.
Because you spent the money, and I get that, and you're already getting a shorter day, which I'm assuming you know about when you bought your tickets.
You'd think.
But, you know, I just, that was one of those things where like, I don't know how I feel about that. And it's not necessarily a this is wrong or right. It's just it had me thinking as we were walking through Adventureland, and I noticed that. Finally, we've talked about lots of things tonight, and we're going to talk about what we don't talk about. And that's Bruno.
Yay!
This song,
Yeah.
number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
You know, I have
The
to say,
album
Mhm.
in its entirety is number 1 on the Billboard. I think it's 200.
Mhm.
What do you have to say about that?
Here's what I have to say about that. Anybody who is claiming that home releases are a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, quite honestly. There was a lot of people not going to theaters when Encanto was out that was in November, end of November, beginning of December. People were really worried about going home for the holidays and getting sick, and they were avoiding things like that at all costs. And the second this went into home entertainment systems is the second this blew up. It was already being talked about when it was in theaters. I'm not going to discredit this in any way. It's a great movie. And the people that went and saw in theaters were loving it, and they were talking about it. But when it became accessible and more accessible to everybody, that is when this blew up.
Well, and I think there's a lot of disruptive innovation happening right now. One of the things I think that you could definitely see happen is you have a movie like this that really is a family movie. Most younger families at that point in their life don't have a ton of discretionary income to be taking 4, 6
a lot.
people to a movie when it's what, $11, $13, $15 a pop. Like, you've now spent close to $100, which in my family growing up, that would feed you for a very long time. Like, and especially in California, everything's expensive here. So I could see the true, like, hey, this is, let's say it's $100 excursion. Maybe you go in the afternoon, so it's a $60 excursion. If you do it, with that way. Or for $8, Disney Plus, whole family can watch it. We can sing along. We can pause it and go to the restroom and not miss anything. We can get more snacks, all of that stuff. And it's a beautiful movie, but it's not something that absolutely has to be seen in a theater, I don't think.
And then when your kids go, I really want to watch that movie again,
you put it on again.
You can.
You can. As opposed to Spider-Man No Way Home, I feel like really did benefit from the movie-going experience. Like, there's so much going on, and it's so big and detailed. And yes, that kind of stuff does happen. And if you've seen the Easter eggs in Encanto, there's some fun things happening in the background. But with things like Spider-Man, there's so much going on that it actually is a more enjoyable experience the first time you see it on the big screen. I think.
But I think that's where you're right in that the first time that you see it.
Yeah.
I'm an extremely cautious, paranoid person. I have not been doing a ton of extra things besides going to work and going to Disney with my KN95 mask on. That's pretty much all I do. But I saw Spider-Man in theaters, but I was only willing to see it that one time.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go.
Well, but as great as it was, and I wanted to watch it more, I have not been.
It'll get home released at some point.
Eventually. Yeah. But I was worried about going to a theater. I was like, I'll do it once. And as much as I would like to see it again,
but I think
I can't pull that off.
Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, I would actually say Pixar movies, just because of the way most of them are made.
Beautiful.
Like those really benefit from the movie going experience
At least once.
at least once. And honestly, Encanto probably is one of those.
I agree. I
Um,
just didn't see it.
it just didn't work out, but it does open up the possibilities, especially for people with kids that, maybe don't want to pay for a babysitter too.
It's true.
Like, I mean, that just adds up super fast. So
Also, some people, like, kids can't really sit for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I know when I watched Encanto, I watched, I think, the first 45 minutes, and then actually got up because I had an appointment and I had to go somewhere. I watched on New Year's Day. And then I came home and I watched the rest. And it was like
There
a
you
nice,
go.
like, lay in bed type of thing.
there you go. All right, but congratulations to both the song and the movie. Looking forward to seeing where it goes next. And I do love that we got to hear some music from it at Disneyland After Dark last night. Thank you, Fat Cat Swinger. And thank you for watching. Katie, what should people do?
You should go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. Subscribe to our mailing list so you don't miss anything.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the videos that we have going up from Disneyland After Dark. And my trip to Walt Disney World, I will be editing until the cows come home, apparently, and then some. But we hope you've enjoyed our show tonight. That is all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.